A cold wind rattles the windows of a dimly lit cafe on the edge of town, where the neon sign flickers like a heartbeat struggling to stay alive. Inside, two figures sit across from each other, their faces half hidden in the glow of a single overhead lamp. The woman's fingers tremble as she clutches a steaming cup of coffee, her eyes darting to the door every few seconds, as if expecting someone or something to burst through. The man opposite her leans forward, his voice low, almost a growl. "You know what's at stake, don't you?" he says, sliding an envelope across the table. It's thick, heavy with the weight of secrets and crisp bills. She hesitates, her breath catching in her throat, then reaches for it. The moment her fingers touch the envelope, the world shifts. A deal is made, a silence is bought. But silence, as they both will learn, has a way of screaming louder than words. Her name is Maya. Once, she was just another face in the crowd, a young woman with dreams too big for the small town she called home. She wanted to be a journalist, to uncover truths that powerful people buried beneath lies. But dreams don't pay rent, and desperation has a way of bending even the strongest spines. That's how she ended up here, in this cafe, striking a deal with a man whose name she doesn't even know. He called himself Mr. Grain, not his real name, of course, but it suited him. Everything about him was cloaked in ambiguity. His tailored suit, his polished shoes, the way his eyes seemed to see right through her. "Keep this quiet," he'd said, "and you'll never have to worry about money again." The envelope held $50,000. 50,000 reasons to forget what she saw that night. What did she see? That's the question burning in your mind right now, isn't it? It's the same question that's haunted Maya for months. It was a late night, the kind where the city feels alive with secrets. She was walking home from a dead-end job at the local newspaper, cutting through an alley to save time. That's when she saw it. A sleek black car parked under a broken streetlight, its engine idling like a predator waiting to pounce. Two men stood beside it, their voices sharp and urgent. One held a briefcase, the other, a gun. And then there was the third figure, someone she recognized instantly. Someone whose face was plastered on billboards and TV screens across the city. A man who could make or break lives with a single phone call. She didn't mean to eavesdrop, didn't mean to see what she saw, but she did. And now, that knowledge is a curse. The cafe meeting wasn't the first time Mr. Gray approached her. He'd been watching her for weeks, tracking her movements like a hunter stalking prey. At first it was just a feeling, a prickle on the back of her neck, the sense of eyes following her in the grocery store or on the subway. Then came the note, slipped under her apartment door. "We know what you saw. Meet us midnight, the diner on 5th. She thought about running, about packing a bag and disappearing into the night. But where would she go? She had no family, no savings, no one to turn to, so she went. And that's when Mr. Gray laid out the terms. Take the money, keep her mouth shut, and live a life most people only dream of, or refuse and face consequences she couldn't even imagine. Maya took the money. Of course she did. Who wouldn't? $50,000 was more than she'd ever seen in one place. It was freedom, security, a chance to start over. But as she walked out of that cafe, the envelope tucked inside her jacket, she felt the weight of it pulling her down, like a stone tied to her soul. She told herself it was just a one-time thing. She'd forget what she saw, move on, live her life. But secrets don't stay buried. They fester. They claw their way to the surface. And for Maya, the truth was starting to break free. Every night, she dreams of that alley, the glint of the gun, the low hum of the car, the face of the man who shouldn't have been there. She wakes up gasping, her heart pounding, the envelope still hidden in the floorboards under her bed. She tries to spend the money, to buy nice things, to pretend she's okay. But every purchase feels like a betrayal. Every dollar spent is a reminder of the silence she promised to keep. And then, one day, she sees him again, the man from the alley. He's on TV, smiling for the cameras, shaking hands with people who have no idea what he's capable of. That's when something inside her snaps. She can't do this anymore. She can't live with a lie. So she makes a decision. A dangerous, reckless, life-altering decision. She's going to break the silence. She's going to tell the world what she saw that night. But doing so means going up against people who have the power to destroy her. People who don't just break promises, they break lives. As she sits in her tiny apartment, typing out the first words of her confession, her hands shake. She knows this could be the end of her, but she also knows she can't keep running from the truth. The city outside her window hums with life, oblivious to the storm she's about to unleash. She hits record on her phone, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her chest. "My name is Maya," she begins, "and I have something to tell you. Something they don't want you to know." The words spill out, each one a step closer to freedom and to danger. She doesn't know who's listening, who's watching, or how far they'll go to stop her, but she's done hiding. The truth is her weapon now, and she's ready to fight. The red light on Maya's phone blinks steadily, a tiny beacon in the darkness of her apartment. Her voice trembles but grows stronger with every word, as if the truth itself is fueling her courage. "I saw something I wasn't supposed to see," she says, her eyes fixed on the lens, imagining the thousands, maybe millions, who might one day hear her. "It was late, past midnight, in an alley off 7th Street. I saw a man whose face you all know, a man who stands in front of cameras every day, promising to make our city better. But what I saw him doing that night wasn't about making things better. It was about power. It was about control. And it was about something so dark, I've been afraid to speak until now. She pauses, her breath hitching. The weight of what she's doing crashes over her like a wave. Once this video goes live, there's no going back. She glances at the envelope still hidden under the floorboards, its contents untouched since the night in the cafe. $50,000 to keep quiet, and now she's about to throw it all away. Not just the money, but her safety, her future, maybe even her life. But the alternative, living in silence, is no life at all. She leans closer to the phone, her voice dropping to a whisper. His name is Victor Kane, and he's not who you think he is. Victor Kane, the name alone is enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone in the city. He's the golden boy of politics, a rising star tipped to be the next mayor. His face is everywhere on campaign posters, news channels, even charity events where he hands out checks with a smile that could charm the devil himself. But Maya knows the truth behind that smile. She saw him in that alley, handing over a briefcase to a man with a gun. She heard the words they exchanged, words that hinted at a deal far bigger than a simple payoff, words about control, leverage, and taking care of loose ends. She didn't understand it all at the time, but she knew enough to be terrified. Uploading the video feels like stepping off a cliff. Her finger hovers over the button, her heart pounding so loud she's sure that neighbors can hear it. She thinks about her old life before the alley, before Mr. Gray, before the money. She was nobody then, just a girl with a notebook full of dreams and a job that barely paid the bills. Now, she's about to become someone else entirely, a whistleblower, a target, a spark that could ignite a firestorm. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and clicks upload. The progress bar creeps forward, each percentage point a countdown to her new reality. Within minutes, the video starts to spread. Notifications ping on her phone, one after another, like fireworks exploding in the night. Views climb from dozens to hundreds, then thousands. Comments flood in, some calling her brave, others calling her a liar. Is this real? One asks. Victor Kane. No way, says another. But there are others, darker ones, that make her stomach churn. You're dead, one reads, from an account with no name and a blank profile picture. Another, you can't hide from us. She tries to ignore them, but each message feels like a brick added to the weight on her chest. By morning, the video has gone viral. It's on every social media platform, shared by influencers, dissected by bloggers, debated in group chats across the city. News outlets pick it up, their headlines screaming. Local woman accuses Victor Kane of corruption. Maya's name is everywhere, her face plastered across screens just like Kane's used to be. She's a hero to some, a traitor to others. Her phone rings non-stop. Reporters, friends she hasn't spoken to in years, even strangers offering support or threats. She doesn't answer. She can't. She's too busy packing a bag, her hands shaking as she stuffs clothes and essentials into a backpack. She knows they're coming for her. She's right. Across town, in a sleek high-rise office with floor 2 ceiling windows, Mr. Gray sits behind a desk, his face unreadable as he watches Maya's video on a laptop. His fingers tap rhythmically on the polished wood. A predator calculating its next move. She broke the deal, he says to the man standing in the corner, a hulking figure with a scar across his cheek. Find her now. The man nods and slips out of the room, his footsteps silent despite his size. Mr. Gray leans back, his eyes narrowing. He underestimated Maya. He won't make that mistake again. Meanwhile, Maya slips out of her apartment, her hood pulled low over her face. The city feels different now, like it's holding its breath, waiting for the next act in this dangerous play. She doesn't know where she's going, only that she can't stay still. Her phone buzzes again, a message from an unknown number. You did the right thing. Meet me at the old warehouse on Pier 13 midnight. Come alone. Her heart races. Is it a trap, a lifeline? She doesn't know, but she's out of options. As she steps into the night, the city's lights blur around her, a kaleidoscope of hope and danger. The warehouse on Pier 13 looms like a forgotten giant. Its rusted walls and broken windows swallowed by the fog rolling in from the harbor. Maya's footsteps echo on the cracked pavement as she approaches, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her heart pounding so hard it feels like it might burst through her chest. The city is quieter here, the hum of traffic replaced by the distant lapping of waves and the occasional creak of old wood. She checks her phone again. 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes until the meeting. 2 minutes to decide if she's walking into salvation or a trap. The message had been vague, but something about it felt real. The words "you did the right thing" echoed in her mind, a lifeline in the chaos of the past 24 hours. She'd spent the day moving from place to place, coffee shops, libraries, anywhere with a crowd to blend into. She'd ditched her phone's SIM card and bought a burner, but the messages kept coming. Anonymous tips, warnings, even a grainy photo of her leaving her apartment that morning. Someone was always watching. But this message, the one about Pier 13, was different. It wasn't a threat. It was a call to action. She steps into the warehouse, the air thick with the smell of salt and decay. Her flashlight beam dances across rusted machinery and stacks of rotting crates, casting shadows that twist like specters. "Hello," she calls, her voice barely above a whisper. No answer. She takes another step, her sneakers crunching on broken glass. Then, from the darkness, a figure emerges, a woman, older than Maya, with sharp eyes and a scarf pulled tight around her face. "You're Maya," the woman says, her voice low but firm. "I'm Alina. I saw your video." Alina steps closer, her movements cautious but deliberate. She pulls a folder from her coat, its edges worn and stained. "You're not the only one who's seen things," she says, handing it to Maya. "I've been tracking Victor Kane for years. He's not just a politician. He's a puppet for something much bigger." Maya opens the folder, her eyes scanning documents, photos, and handwritten notes, bank transactions, coded messages, names of people she has never heard of, but who seem to hold the city in their grip. "What is this?" she asks, her voice shaking. Elena's eyes darkened. "It's the truth, and it's why they'll never let you walk away," Elena explains in hushed tones. Victor Kane is a front for a network of power brokers, business tycoons, corrupt officials, even organized crime. The briefcase Maya saw in the alley. It wasn't just money, it was leveraged documents that could ruin lives, control empires, or start wars. Elena's been gathering evidence for years, but she's stayed in the shadows, too afraid to go public. Maya's video changed that. "You lit the match," Elena says. "Now we have to keep the fire burning." But the meeting is cut short. A low rumble echoes outside a car engine, too close for comfort. Elena grabs Maya's arm. "They're here," she hisses. "Run." They sprint toward the back of the warehouse, weaving through crates as headlights flood the entrance. Maya's pulse races as she hears boots hitting the ground, voices barking orders. She doesn't look back. She can't. They slip through a side door and into the night, the folder clutched tight against her chest. They find temporary shelter in an abandoned boathouse a mile away. Elena's hands shake as she lights a cigarette, the flame illuminating her weathered face. "They'll kill us both if we don't move fast," she says. "But we have something they don't, the truth, and people are listening now." Maya nods, her mind racing. She thinks about the video, the millions who've seen it, the supporters rallying behind her. But she also thinks about the threats, the shadows closing in. "What do we do next?" she asks. Elena stubs out her cigarette, her eyes blazing with determination. "We go bigger. We take this to the world." By dawn, they're on the move again, heading to a safe house. Elena knows a run-down apartment in a part of the city Kane's influence doesn't reach. There they start planning. Elena has contacts, people who can amplify Maya's story, independent journalists, hackers, even a former cop who got too close to the truth and paid the price. They work through the day, uploading more evidence to anonymous platforms, sending encrypted files to media outlets. The city is buzzing now, protests forming outside Kane's campaign headquarters, hashtags trending worldwide. Maya's name is a rallying cry, but the danger is closer than ever. As night falls, the safe house door rattles. Someone's trying to get in. Maya freezes, her eyes locked on Elena, who pulls a small pistol from her bag. "Stay behind me," Elena whispers. The door creaks open, and a shadow steps inside. The shadow in the doorway isn't Mr. Gray or one of his hired thugs. It's a man Maya recognizes from Elena's folder, former cop named Daniel, whose career was destroyed after he got too close to Kane's secrets. His face is haggard, his eyes haunted, but there's a fire in them that matches Elena's. "You're a hard woman to find," he says, his voice rough but steady. He steps inside, closing the door behind him, and glances at Elena's gun. "You won't need that. I'm on your side." Elena lowers the weapon but doesn't relax. Trust is a luxury they can't afford. Daniel's story spills out in fragments, each one a piece of the puzzle Maya's been trying to solve. He was a detective, one of the best, until he started investigating a string of disappearances linked to Kane's campaign. People who asked too many questions, people who saw too much like Maya. He'd been close to exposing the truth when he was framed for corruption, stripped of his badge, and left to rot. "They thought I'd give up," he says, his jaw tight. "But I've been waiting for someone like you, Maya, someone to break the silence." Together, the three of them form a fragile alliance. Daniel brings resources, a network of ex-cops and whistleblowers, burner phones, even a safe house across state lines. They spend the night poring over Elena's folder, connecting dots between Kane's public persona and the shadow empire he serves. The documents reveal a web of corruption, offshore accounts, rigged contracts, even ties to a cartel moving money through the city's ports. The briefcase Maya saw was just the tip of the iceberg. It's enough to bring Kane down if they can get it to the right people. But trust is a fragile thing. As dawn breaks, Maya notices Elena and Daniel exchanging glances, their voices dropping when they think she's not listening. She tries to shake off the paranoia, but it clings to her like damp air. She's seen what happens to people who get too close to the truth. She can't help but wonder, are these two really her allies, or is this another trap? Her doubts grow when Daniel suggests splitting up. "We're too exposed together," he says. "Maya, you head to the safe house. Elena and I will handle the evidence." Something in his tone feels off. but she agrees. She has no choice. The safe house is a small cabin in the woods, miles from the city's chaos. Maya arrives alone, her nerves frayed, the folder still in her possession. She tries to focus, uploading more files to anonymous servers, but her mind keeps drifting to Alina and Daniel. Why did they insist on staying behind? Why did Alina clutch that folder so tightly before handing it over? The questions gnaw at her until she hears a car approaching. She peers through the cabin's dusty window and sees a familiar black SUV, the same kind she saw in Laba. Her heart stops. They've found her. She grabs the folder and runs, plunging into the dense forest behind the cabin. Branches snap under her feet, her breath ragged as she hears voices closing in. She doesn't know if it's Mr. Gray's men or someone worse. All she knows is she can't stop. She stumbles upon a clearing and hides behind a tree, her hands trembling as she opens the folder one last time. That's when she sees it, a note tucked between the pages, in Elena's handwriting. Trust no one, not even me. Maya's blood runs cold. Was Elena playing her all along? Did Daniel sell her out? The truth, it seems, is a maze with no exit. The voices grow louder, flashlight beams cutting through the darkness. Maya clutches the folder tighter, her mind racing for a way out. She remembers a contact Elena mentioned, a hacker named Cypher, who can get the evidence to the world. If she can reach them, she might still have a chance. But first, she has to survive the night. She takes a deep breath, steels herself and slips deeper into the forest, the weight of the truth heavier than ever. The forest is a labyrinth of shadows, each tree a silent witness to Maya's desperate flight. Her lungs burn, her legs scream for rest, but she keeps moving, driven by the folder in her hands and the truth it holds. The voices behind her fade, then surge again, relentless as hounds on a scent. She doesn't know how long she's been running, minutes, hours, but she knows stopping isn't an option. Cypher is her last hope, a mysterious figure Alina swore could break the internet with the right evidence. If Maya can find them, she can end this. She stumbles into a small town at the edge of the forest, its streets quiet under the pre-dawn sky. A diner glows like a beacon, its neon sign flickering just like the one in the cafe where this all began. Inside, she finds a payphone ancient, but it works. She dials the number Alina gave her, her hands shaking as she waits for an answer. Cypher, a voice says, low and distorted. Maya doesn't waste time. I have evidence. Victor Kane. It's big. I need your help. There's a pause. Then, get to the old library on Maple Street. Leave the folder in the third stall of the men's bathroom, then disappear. The line goes dead. Maya follows the instructions, her every step shadowed by the fear of being caught. The library is abandoned, its shelves covered in dust, but she finds the bathroom and hides the folder as instructed. She's about to leave when she hears footsteps, not heavy, like Mr. Gray's men, but soft, deliberate. She ducks into a stall and holds her breath. The door creaks open, and she sees a figure through the crack, a woman, young, with a hoodie and a laptop bag. Cypher. Maya steps out, ready to speak, but the woman's eyes widen in fear. You shouldn't be here, she whispers, just as a gunshot rings out. The bullet misses, shattering a mirror instead. Maya and the woman Cypher dive for cover as Mr. Gray's men storm the library. You can't run forever, Maya, one of them shouts, his voice cold and mocking. Cypher grabs Maya's hand, pulling her toward a back exit. They burst into an alley, only to find it blocked by another SUV. Trapped, but Cypher is quick, tossing a flash drive to Maya. Upload this now. Maya scrambles to a nearby cafe, using their Wi-Fi to send the files to every major news outlet, every social platform, every corner of the internet. The truth is out. The final showdown comes at dawn on the steps of City Hall. Maya, Cypher, and a growing crowd of supporters face off against Kane's empire. Protests have erupted across the city, fueled by the evidence now flooding the airwaves. Kane himself appears, his smile gone, his eyes burning with rage. You think you've won? He snarls, but the crowd drowns him out, chanting Maya's name. Police arrive not to protect Kane, but to arrest him, as the evidence proves too overwhelming to ignore. Maya stands tall, the weight of the truth finally lifted. She's no longer just a girl from a small town. She's a symbol, a spark, a voice that refused to be silenced. But as she walks away, she knows the fight isn't over. There are more Kanes out there, more secrets waiting to be exposed, and she's ready for them.